everybody. Um, I guess it's Tuesday. Um, I guess the second day of the free agency thing, and I got to say, you know, I have a mixed bag about today. I think that I think there were some good things that happened, and there were some bad things that happened. Um, you know, Earlier today, the 49ers signed their snapper Nelson. Um, Used to be a 49er, but then he was like suspended. And then I find out later in the day that I think Mosley ended up being gone. And now I'm hearing that Odell Beckham Jr. is now a Cleveland Brown. I wish we could have got Odell Beckham Jr. I really did. You did. But yeah, that sucks. That sucks. And I was starting to um, have doubts about John Lynch's credibility in all this because our draft days this week, our draft week, hasn't really looked all that great. The first day, though, we picked up um, uh, Dequan Alexander. Now I've heard good things about him. I've heard that he's very fast. He was in the Pro Bowl, very athletic, and I've watched highlights of him, and he looks pretty darn good. I was kind of amazed how well he played in what I saw in these highlights, and I think he'll be a good asset to us. Um, but I'm but the Odell thing I'm a little bit upset about because I thought maybe we could have got him. Um, and you know what when but but we also got just recently we just got linebacker Dee Ford from Kansas City, and we made a trade um, for a second round pick for next year. And I misread the headline, and I thought it meant the second pick of this year's draft. And I'm like, huh? What? No way. But no, that's not it. It's the second round pick of next year. And this is a good ball player. I'm glad we're getting him. I really am. I'm glad we're getting him. Um, but the way the free agency thing has started this weekend, I really was starting to have doubts because when we got the linebacker Dequan Alexander, I thought to myself, you know, I hear good things and I hear bad things. The bad things I hear about him is that he doesn't tackle very well, but I've seen him do a lot of good tackling in the highlights that I've seen him, in. He did have an ACL injury last October, and that's discouraging. But he'll bounce back from it. I'm pretty sure he's a young player. Usually young players. He's 24. He'll be 25, I think, in May. Usually, young players that have ACL injuries this early in their career can heal faster. It's the guys that are older, that heal slower because the body starts to change. It starts to break down over time. Um, But overall, this free agency thing this week, I think we've done really to me it's a mixed bag because I did want Odell Beckham Jr. There were other players I would have liked to have seen us get, and before this. Dee Ford trade with the Chiefs, I was ready to jump all over John Lynch. I mean, a lot of people have been doubting John Lynch, up until this point. A lot of people have been doubting him because he's been talking about, because people saying we're not making any splashes. We signed an old snapper. We signed a kicker. We got this linebacker that that some people find Alexander a mixed bag, and so people were starting to say this is like Trent Baalke all over again. They're not making big splashes. They're not making strides. John Lynch is showing his inexperience. I've been hearing this. He has been getting a lot of. If you go on Facebook, the 49er Web Zone on Facebook, you read a lot of comments. A lot of people were bashing him, but I'm sure they're talking really good now right now about Dee Ford being traded and we getting him. So that's good news. Um, but I think he's going to be a good player. I think now that I can say that they are addressing defensive help. They got Dee Ford and Alexander, so that's going to help us on defense. I still would like to see us address our secondary. We need some corner help out there. Hopefully they can get some corners because we need help there. But we also need receiver help. Now, since Odell Beckham Jr. and Antonio Brown are totally out of the picture, I say the receiver we should get is Tyrell Williams. Now, he may not be in Antonio Brown and Odell Beckham Jr.'s class, but he's a pretty good receiver. He's a good receiver, and right now, I think we need to make a move to get Tyrell Williams, because if we're not going to get Odell Beckham Jr. or Antonio Brown, let's at least get this other guy, Terrell Williams. I mean, I've heard a lot of good things about him. I've seen highlights of him. He can make big plays. So if we're not going to get those other guys, let's at least get him. I mean, that's how I see it. So that's one area I think we need to address, and the receiver thing is really important. Now, but I'm really excited about some of the moves we made. I got to tell you though, the only two good moves we made is Dee Ford and Kwon Alexander. I think I pronounced his name right. Kwon, something like that. I think seeing his highlights, seeing Dee Ford's highlights, I would say we did really good in the linebacker spot. But Odell Beckham Jr., he's gone. We're not going to get him, but we still need that number one receiver, and I think Tyrell Williams is a good option for us. But yeah, I misread the headline at first, and I thought we were giving up a second pick in the first round for Dee Ford, and I was ready to get on here and have an outrage video about that, including the Odell Beckham Jr. thing. I'm a little bit upset about that. I did want Odell Beckham Jr. He wanted to be a Niner. They said that he either wanted to be a Niner or he wanted to be, a Ram. And to me, I thought that was pretty encouraging. But he's going to be a Cleveland Brown now. The Cleveland Browns made a trade, and they got Odell Beckham Jr. But I still strongly feel about Tyrell Williams, because he's another good receiver out there. He may not be in those other guys' class, but he can be an asset to us. And I think John Lynch needs to make a move here. We have to address these problems or address these issues with our team. We need help in the secondary. We need that number one receiver. And all those people who say, nah, we don't need a number one receiver, we can get by. Actually, you do need a number one receiver. You ask any analyst, any expert, they will tell you that any team with a number one receiver is a good thing. It's a good thing because it opens up everything else. It opens up your passing game, because when you got two guys double teaming your best receiver, that leaves other guys open, and so that's where a number one receiver is important. You can use that number one receiver as a decoy. But we got to do a better job. We got to do it. I want to see us make more things happen in this. I think it's really important because I want us to win. We got to get rolling now. We got to get this ball going. And so yeah, yeah, I'm really I only see a couple of good moves in there, but I can't understand though why we picked up the kicker. Why did we sign a kicker? We already have a kicker, and why did we get a snapper? We already have a guy that can do that. I mean, I don't understand why we, because what we did with the kicker and what we did with the snapper, getting those two guys, we could have addressed other issues. Like I was saying, the secondary receiver. But yeah, right now I'm hoping for Tyrell Williams. I'm hoping we can get him because from what I've read, he's a good receiver. I've seen highlights of him. And, but this could change. This could change tonight. Somebody else can get Tyrell Williams, but we need a receiver. We need a receiver. And so all this talk about, well, we can get by. No, we can't get by. We have to address these issues. Um, but the draft is coming up. That'd be the next thing to look forward to. I think we'll probably get Nick Bosa. The 49ers have talked to him. Um, they haven't talked to the other guy. They haven't talked to. I don't think they've talked to Josh Allen. But we'll see what happens with that. Also, I'd like us to get maybe Earl Thomas. Just a little while ago, I was saying that we need to address our secondary. I mean, get Thomas, get Earl Thomas. Because I think that and him and Sherman can, they have that chemistry when they played up in Seattle, when they, playing and working together. That would be a good asset for us. And I don't think Earl Thomas. I mean, unless the Cowboys figure a way, I don't see Earl Thomas going to the Cowboys. They have to resign guys. They don't have a lot of money in the bank, so I think that they may not be able to afford Earl Thomas, but I think we need to get Earl Thomas. We need to get him. I have heard though that the 49ers have been looking for other secondary help. You know, um, but we'll see what happens with that. Um, I got to wait a second here. This thing jumps around too much. Got it on the. But we'll see what happens with all this. We'll see if the 49ers do address the secondary and wide receiver, because I feel those are areas I feel that are important too. But they are addressing the 49ers. They are addressing our pass rush, which I think is very very important. We want that edge, and which I think is important. And now I think they were the 49ers here. They were looking at other corners. There was a list in here. They were looking at a Colts cornerback named Pierre, I think his name is. I don't know much about him, but they are looking at corners. So we'll see where that goes. I think we're going to be, I think we're going to be okay. I'm glad we did get two good picks. I think Alexander was a good pick, and I think Dee Ford was a good pick. And but I was actually losing hope after a while. I was actually losing hope because I thought we weren't going to get any good players in this, free agency market. I was looking at, the snapper that we got and the kicker, and then we got a linebacker that's a mixed bag, and then I was starting to get upset, and then I heard that Odell Beckham Jr. went to the Browns, and then I was just starting to get mad, and I almost came on here to have a rant against John Lynch. I almost did. I was ready to talk about his inexperience and all that, but I'm glad we at least got two good players. But Dee Ford is the biggest splash out of this free agency right now for us. But we got to just keep moving in the right direction. I mean, we'll see what happens in the coming days. But Dee Ford's going to be good for us, and so will Alexander. But I think we wasted money on those other two. The snapper Nelson, the kicker, that other kicker that we got. I really feel that we could have done different things there. We could have signed different players, for different positions, rather than getting things we already had. But I really believe that the receiver that I would be interested in right now, since Odell Beckham Jr. is gone and Antonio Brown is gone, the only good receiver I see out there right now is Tyrell Williams, and I hope we get him. I hope we get him. He's the only other good. There's probably another good receiver out there somewhere, but if we can't get those other two guys, that's the guy that I want us to get. But there's no guarantee, because John Lynch sometimes has a habit of blinking. When it comes to good players out there that we need, he sometimes will blink and someone will beat him to it, and then he'll say, "Well, I tried." But yeah, we just got to move on now. That's all I want to say. We'll see what happens in the coming days, and so far, things have gotten better. I was starting to have doubts, like I said, the signing kicker and then Nelson, a linebacker that's kind of considered a mixed bag. But although I think he's going to be great, I think he's going to help us. Kwon Alexander. He's a young guy. He's played in the Pro Bowl. And usually these guys who go to the Pro Bowl or early in their career means that it's just a sign of things to come. And I think he's going to be fine. The ACL thing, he should be fine by that time because his injury occurred last October. So we'll see what happens with that. So everybody take care and have a good week.